Okay, we call the meeting to order. I need a motion to accept the meetings for July 14th, 2021.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Do we have any outside stuff we have to deal with? Or
Nope, not today.
no? Good. Okay.
There's nothing here for the special meeting that we had to.
No, we just discussed that, so Peter didn't get that back till today to sign from Avon, so we
Okay.
waited for them to sign it until we approved the minutes. So it'll be in October's meeting.
Okay.
Okay, the monthly report.
Yep, so we have two, so I'll just go over them. The first one was July, as rainy as it was in July, we still squeaked the nitrogen permit, which was really good. Average 4.2 million, removal efficiency was 98.7, 90, almost 99% on the suspended solids. 1.8 on the phosphorus, and we averaged about 18-19% on the cake solids. The coli was 2.44 milligrams a liter. In August, we averaged 3.6. That was referencing before. I got a picture of a couple of the screens we had for the heavy flow days. So this day was August 19th. So even though the average you're showing a 3.6, we were averaging almost 18 to 19 million for like a 3-hour, 2-hour peak. And that was 19th when we got that 5 inches of rain.
Right.
So it's kind of tricky to look at the summary report because you see the flow in the max of 6.2, but we had 2 days out of the month when we actually shot up that high, and you can see how unlinear it looks because of how quickly it came in. And then when you look at that trend, you can kind of see our true flows really anywhere from 2 to 3 million, and all that is just rain infiltration. And that day we actually had, it ripped our influent sampler tubing off the line and it pulled it down into the UV channel. So we sucked in a lot of algae. So we had to tell the state because it sucked in algae, which makes the sample look bad. So it's really not our fault. Just that peak kind of shows why. And then we re-secured everything and we didn't have that issue with the sampler for the hurricane, but that'll be on next month.
How come that came up?
20 million. So we never tested it to that flow. So basically it's on with like 2 clamps and it basically draws in your sample over a 24-hour period. And within, it was on between 8, I want to say between 8:30 and 10 is really when we had the spike. And it must have just literally pulled the sample tubing so hard that it stretched it. And the end of our UV channel, not in the UV because we have the bulbs on, but in the end of it, we have algae because it flows out with the effluent. So when the sample was pulling, like stretched, it went out like an extra couple feet and it must have been sucking in algae or whatnot. And then after the storm, we cut a section off, re-secured it. Now we have like 3 metal clamps going down in a new spot. But it's one of those things that unless it happened, I really never would have guessed that it would happen.
That was a 12-hour storm. That was.
This was like not even, I want to say 6 hours it lasted.
Yeah, that was the quick one that,
Yep.
that went through where we got the 4 or 5 inches of rain.
Correct.
Right. That was not the hurricane.
No, and actually, like I said, I wanted to talk about the hurricane today because I got some good videos and stuff, but it's September, so we'll go over it next month. But we didn't have a single violation the whole hurricane, 100% treatment, and we were even running the effluent pumps. So we didn't think we'd have to run, but the river came up so quickly that it pushed the river back. So we weren't running them because of the flow through the plant. We were running it because the pipe was actually filling from the river coming back. So we got to test all the systems, which worked very well. Just bring up the engineering report.
What did you find from a smell standpoint, Art?
Um,
Because my sniffers on Garden Street that I heard from 1 or 2 of them, and But they said it, wasn't bad, but though that the wind was perfect.
Yeah, like right after the storm or during it?
After.
After, so we did have, I would say like a little more order than normal. And I would just contribute it to, we had 5 times the flow really.
Right.
And again, like I'll get more into it next month, like I'll upload all the videos, but for that Wednesday and that Thursday, we were averaging, like on that graph, you just saw the peak, we were averaging about 17, 18 million steady.
Right.
And we hit about 22 million Wednesday and a Thursday morning. So the plant design is 18.9. We can flow 20 to 24. There's no like true number, but at that point, it's basically like getting the water in and getting the water out. But we were still able to treat everything because we had all the tankage online. So for August, the only thing that got us was we were a little over on the nitrogen just because of that flow. I think by sample day, we were at 180 pounds for the month, which is right at that threshold. And then we sampled the Wednesday of the hurricane, and I think it was a 10.2 million gallon day. So it literally quadruples your pounds. So everything else is good though. For the update report, try to go through it quick because there's 2 months. Pulled and back flushed pump at Oakland Garden Pump Station. We just found some rags. This was one of the stations in August that both pumps were pumping 100%, and we still had a high wet well. It kept up, but it was basically doing 100% as much as it could. So there's kind of no surprise we had some rags because July and August were so wet, everything got pumped through there. We painted the Allstate pump station tube, meter box, and doors. We prepped South Road because we're working on it now. We removed all the compressors from South Road and Pequabic. These were the stations we upgraded with the INC, so now there's pressure transducers and floats. On August 17th, we responded to a pump on fail at Patrick Flood. We had some debris, so that's a suction lift station, so we prime the pumps before they pump the water. So once in a while, we'll get rags or stuff in the priming system, and then there's a little electrode that senses it. So if it crosses it, it'll throw it off. But we're gonna clean that station out this month. We pushed it back 2 months because it was so wet. We just couldn't get the pumps out there, and it wasn't easy to work in that weather.
The rags, is that from something that people flushed?
Yeah. You could find anything in there. And next month, I'm gonna have a lot of pictures and videos next month. I'll show you what the wet well looked like the first time we cleaned it. And the hard part is with suction lift, because you're not pulling from the bottom of the wet well. Basically anything that's sitting in there never leaves the wet well because you're drawing from the top. So we're basically forced to clean it every couple of years.
Is there anything we can do to educate? Education is
Like the public.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, we sent out a video on the town website. There's a link to say like what you shouldn't flush, but if I told you the stories of what we find in there, I don't know how it even gets down the toilet in the first place. So
Here's pants,
jeans,
yeah.
shirts, bras, wire and all. I don't even know how it
Wow.
gets through. I mean, and then of course we have like from construction debris, we've had cinder blocks, 2x4s, pieces of asphalt, you name it, it's been in there, pumpkins. South Road, August 23rd, that was the night after the hurricane that was supposed to hit, but we really didn't get it. I think that was Harvey or Hermie, I think. Eversource transformer blew right outside the station. So that's the only station we don't have a generator. So we got in within an hour, got everything running, hooked our generator up. I waited there till 3 a.m. for Eversource to come, but they fixed it in about 10 minutes and we were back up and running. We are looking at a small generator there. It's just hard because it's in the backyard. So we kind of want to do a small blueprint. But that worked out. West Farms pump station, we had a VFD fault. We just reset that. That was about it for pump stations. For upgrades, We've been helping Highway clean and vac a lot of the collection basins all over town, but on Peggy. We did that kind of in preparation for the hurricanes. We also checked manholes for the paving projects and went through our critical manhole checklist before the storms. We cleaned both septic tanks at Tungus Mead, and we made the custom frame for the manhole rings. So now we can make our own ones that save money. I think I might have mentioned that before as well. The ozone is at Batterson. We weren't 100% done putting in, so I'll have those pictures for you next month too. But basically, it oxidizes the wet well, so it basically helps the odor. We haven't had any complaints there since
The last one.
April or May. So it's been a while, knock on wood. And then we also have the permanganate at Batterson, at West Farms going up the hill to Batterson. So we're oxidizing it twice.
Will that woman out the lake, is she complaining?
No, we haven't heard anything since we put everything in. So fingers crossed. We jetted Cambridge Crossing, Beverwood, and Lake Garda, and we continued to clear right of ways. We're scheduled for Patrick Flood, like I said, in September. We already have Godwin and Levac called. And this is kind of what I touched on. It's a suction lift, so we can't typically get in there without bypassing the whole station. So every 2 to 3 years we do this. For the plant, we change oil and aeration mixers. We pulled a small piece of threaded rod out of primary 2. Not sure where it came from. It could have come in through the primary pumps. All the oxygen probes were cleaned, inspected, and checked the air blast systems. We drained final 2 for inspection and maintenance, and then quickly filled it after because we had all the rain coming. We greased and changed oil in the sludge transfer pumps and backwash and drained the polymer system lines. Plant upgrades. So Henry received 5 inches of rain and several more. The plant ran well throughout both storms, except that one sampler issue. We continue to work with NIC systems to optimize PLC programming, which we're still working on the blowers a little bit, but it's getting there. There's a lot to kind of go through. We calibrated the Avon flow meter in August. I was there with Tim Foster. They were all under 2% permissive. They're supposed to be 5, so they're well under where they should be for deviations, and Crocus and Avon were both done. For the lateral reports, Yorkshire Court. Let's see. That was August 11th. Okay, so they collected the fee and paid directly to MDC. Second one was, I guess he's got it, 2 of them for that, 94, 97 to 107. And Briarwood Road, they just repaired the existing lateral there. That's it actually for both months. Any questions on that?
So we're seeing the ribbon, right?
Yeah.
Now the plan will work. That's not gonna affect us, right?
Shouldn't, no. So then we just have the approval for the schedule for the meetings, which you guys should have attached. Should be the last page.
We need a motion to approve the WPCA meeting schedule for 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I mean, I don't have any Christmas thing, what do you mean?
For this year,
Yeah,
or for next year?
for this year.
No, I don't even know. What's our December meeting
Will be,
this year?
let's step ahead and just, hold on. Would be the 8th, because actually December 1st is the first Wednesday, so it'll be December 8th.
Is there anything else we have to discuss?
Do you have any concerns, Mark? Anything that?
No, I mean, like I was telling Jim and Peter, like I really wanted to touch on the hurricane, because I would guess that's probably the most flow we've had, or we're gonna see here in probably 20 years. I mean, and then really, it wasn't just the hurricane, it was, we had the 5-inch storm at the end of August.
Yeah.
Then we had the 2-inch on Ray that was kind of a bust, but then we had I think it was 6.4 we had here, so we had 13 inches in 10 days.
Yeah,
I mean, so you're not gonna see that too often here.
like I had come through that.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, I mean, we didn't have any, other than that sample to me with the algae, which the state understands, because if that's the only thing we had, there was probably 30 plants that were underwater, I mean, or that had major issues. And the DEP is good, they reach out and they ask us, so we didn't have any issues. I did get a little nervous when we had 3 effluent pumps running and our flow was still coming. But we ran without an issue, so we still had some, I'd say probably about 2 to 3 million left in the pumps that we could have pushed.
We got any concern for tonight's rain?
Don't jinx me, I hope not. They're saying what, mostly just like spotty thunderstorms,
Yes.
nothing major.
Nothing major at all tonight.
Yeah, so our flow right now is already down to like 5 million. So it's literally been like this since last week. It took 3 days for the pumps to shut off because the river was still high. But other than that, we did fine. Full treatment from the hurricane and everything, so.
Well, I have a feeling we're gonna go through this again next year.
We've had these 500-year floods,
Yeah.
you know, in our like insurance industry with the flood insurance and so on, you know, 100-year floods supposed to happen once every 100 years. So now we have a 500-year flood, so.
Is that what it was for this, or?
Yeah.
Cause I know they told me when we talked to the state, they said the first storm we got on the 19th of August, they said that like 3-hour period was like a 200-year storm.
So now they're.
It's crazy.
Now we've had three in a month's time. The country club, the golf course there, I've never, you know, I've been a member there for 45 years. I've never seen we like raised up the 9th green in the early 1980s, because it always used to get flooded out and so on. The 9th green barely stayed above water this time. 11th green was completely underwater. The 12th green barely stayed above like water.
Jeez.
Of course, the water was all the way up to Waterville Road by where the old tennis courts were. And the course has been closed on the west side since Wednesday, I guess it was. Yeah, and we have our major member golf tournament this weekend, starting on Friday with 63 holes, and so they're gonna have the whole course open again, but it's gonna be a entirely different place.
Yeah.
But it's not, I mean, it did not flood last year. I don't think it flooded the previous year, but you know, we were going on record there for a while where.
When's the last time you saw the river get this high? How long?
I haven't seen it. It hasn't been that high, because that 11th green, you know, you can see that from like the old Epicure parking lot. So I go right outside my office and I see that. And I haven't seen the 11th green underwater with, I can't tell you how long. It just hasn't been that high. I have a friend that took drone photos of the shack, which is down at the 10th hole, the driving range. And it's about from the Epicure parking lot. I said the Epicure parking lot showed our age to it, you know, but from that parking lot, the Starbucks parking lot down, it's a good half a mile down the shack, the restaurant shack that the country club has there on the river. And they have a Trex deck there and so on in the building, there for the, kitchen. And, that decking, the Trex decking was completely underwater. The only thing that held the tables there were the, railing to like prevent you from falling off the deck to go down into the river.
Well, I know down here, I was telling them earlier, we had 6 feet where the trees are down here.
Yeah.
And it was probably this far from the top of the fence. It was all the way to the UV building. And then the cell phone tower, that was probably 4 or 5 feet underwater, all the way back there. And then, I forgot the guy's name on the farm. It's like right out here, the little field here.
Yeah, Hodgson.
Yeah, he probably had 2 or 3 feet, like right by the road here.
Yeah.
I mean, we were surrounded pretty much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, could like Marty Carroll get to his house?
he could get there. He lucked out. It only came up to like that second field, like in front of the burn building, and then it kind of stopped. But that whole back area was underwater.
Was it?
Flooded basement calls we get.
Oh, we were, the flooded basements are, routine. Norwalk School, flooded, the basement there. Again, yeah, so all the kids are out of those rooms there, that my kids going back, when my kids were that high, that's, but my youngest kid is, 33 now, so if you go back to whatever, 25 plus years, my oldest kid is 39, so, that those flooded then, and they're still flooding today. They had 4 inches of water, in the, basement classrooms at, the walls last week. Yeah. So,
I remember the last time we had that big flood, it was in the early 200s, where the Farmington Club.
Yeah.
Got flooded, that.
well, we used to pay claims there every year, Peter. I insured them for flood insurance. The lower building, the aqueduct building, would get every year, it would come up to 3 feet. They'd come in with a circular saw the next day, because the Calvins own that, and they did it right. They come in with a circular saw and would cut out the sheetrock, from the base, because it would wick up. And then they would, when the water left, they cut it all out and then the sheetrock the whole bottom thing, because they had to turn it around because they had weddings in there.
Right.
Both solid, so they had to turn it around just like that. And in fact, that I wrote the flood insurance there for 40 years. The top building, the larger building, only one time did it get wet in my 45 years. Yeah, only one time did that upper building get it. But that aqueduct building, the one that by the pool, that one there would get it
We're gonna be there tomorrow.
every 5 or so years. Are you gonna be there tomorrow?
Morning.
Oh, for the economic breakfast, yeah, I'm not gonna be there tomorrow, for that. Yeah, I don't know how that they made out
It's
this time,
supposed to be gonna do 10.
because outside with the tech, because that's changed hands now with Mizuno owns that now.
Peter, sorry, did you adjourn, Peter, or?
Not yet.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss it.
And seeing that there isn't any more, make a motion to adjourn.
So approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It wouldn't be fast.
That was good. All right, thank you, Phil.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.